Come on with it, Josh.
My name is Josh Snyder, and you're listening to Thoughtful Discussions. My co-host today is...
Corey Ochai. How you guys doing? Yes, we are here back again. You dig it.
And our guest today is none other than...
Lexa Terrestrial.
Ooh.
Greetings, humanoids.
Love that. Lexa Terrestrial. I need the backstory on that. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, because I did not know. I didn't ask the whole name. So I love that.
Okay, I thought you might have known that my name was Lexa Terrestrial, but you didn't really know, like, you know, the full story.
He's
but
been busy.
You're new.
Hold on. I'll just interrupt
okay.
real quick. He's been busy. Mm-hmm. He was a write-in on the ballot in Sharpsburg for city council yesterday.
Congrats.
So
thank you.
My dad ran for city council, and he ran for like 8 years. It's actually a lot. It makes a big difference doing stuff like that. So congrats to you. Hey,
what type of impact did that have on you in your life? Because I have two daughters, you know, and they seeing me. And today I even had a conversation. She was asking me, what you know, did you get the results back? And I didn't because it was a write-in.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know. I was wondering if they're seeing that and actually what are they getting from seeing me run? You know, what type of inspiration? And I was like, you know, I told her, if there's anything you want to do, you can do it. You put your mind to it. And I asked her if there's something she want to do. And she wants to do like a backflip. You know, she hasn't done one yet. You know, so
love that.
She's been practicing. And I was like, yeah, just keep practicing. And I guess my wife signed her up for like some type of clinic, like a backflip.
Gymnastic?
Yeah, like a clinic or something like that. So I'm hoping it you know, it affects them in a positive way, like where they can use that, see me do something that's, you know, that's out of the norm and influence them to do something. So
yeah, because being an entrepreneur is just normal, right?
Absolutely.
In your household, it's like, yeah, he already did that.
Absolutely.
That's not inspiring.
Like the girls that pull out the kitchen toys and like sell us like dinners and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they just on that. Like, you know, they want to, next thing they want to do is the lemonade stands and all that stuff. So
love
really
it.
cool.
So Corey's been busy. That's why he didn't look up your name.
Wormhole. I live in my own wormhole. I try not to see too much around me, so I get it. I understand.
So tell us about your name and you know what you're doing and all that.
Man, I want to talk about backflips now.
Come on with it.
Go ahead.
No, your daughter, I think. See, for the first like 15, 20 years of my life, I couldn't do a backflip. I was too scared. Okay. I did take gymnastics. I could do back handsprings a little bit, but I didn't do gymnastics for like 10 years. I moved to New York. I went to this parkour gym and boom, did a backflip.
Just like that.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Wait, was it because you saw other people doing it and you were like, oh yeah, I can do this?
No, it's because somebody taught me a couple. I was already pretty agile and athletic, but somebody taught me a couple, like 2 little simple things to do, and I did them. I think if you just have that mindset of I can do anything if I really, I don't know. It's like if you are good at learning things, no matter what it is, like if you just like to learn and you like to try things and you like to soak in information, it'll make doing really anything a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Being open to it, you know, and like you said, like that's the one thing I like stress to her. I was like, anything you're thinking of, and I mean anything that you want to do, if you can think about it, you can actually do it. You know, but it's your ability to believe. You just have to believe in yourself, and you believe enough, and you work on it hard enough, it'll happen.
It starts with thinking.
Always.
Yeah, everything starts with thinking.
Everything starts with thought.
Right. Tom Mosser was a guest a few weeks ago, and he said everything begins with an idea.
That's it.
That's the most important part of it.
That's it, man. That's it. Yeah. So what is it that you do? Lexa Terrestrial.
Lexa Terrestrial.
I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right, guys.
So I mostly do music. I do. I'm a hip hop artist. I've always done hip hop. I've always mixed it with other genres. I produce. I used to songwrite for other people. I really want to get into film scoring. I love to film score.
We need to talk.
And it's very niche. It's very hard to get into. But I've just essentially been doing hip hop my whole life. I've seen I went to New York for a long time and did the whole hip hop scene there. I love it. I live it. I breathe it. I was a hip hop dancer when I was younger.
Come on with it, Lex.
Yeah, and so I just, I'm always writing and thinking. I do also make clothes as well. I wouldn't say that's like my main thing. Yeah. I do have other people make my shirts, my stickers, you know, stuff like you.
Who's that? Who makes those stickers?
Oh, yeah. Go
Pittsburgh
ahead. Give
Print
the plug.
Company.
This is the guy
Pittsburgh
on
Print
the
Company.
left.
And I gotta say, they do the best art and they have the most
Absolutely.
affordable prices. Everybody I give a sticker or business card to, they always ask, and I'm always like, Pittsburgh Print Shop.
Absolutely.
Josh, you know what
Thank
it is.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, I do try to extend my creativity through what I wear. Obviously, I wear bows. And I cover my face now, and that's a whole other story.
I
But
can't wait
We'll
to
get into
talk
that.
to you about that. I want
Yeah.
to know what that is.
But music is my life, and that's the one thing I'm always trying to experiment with. I'm always trying to grow in, learn different things. I like doing different things with my voice. I love that. You heard me do the cartoon
I was
thing.
just about to say,
Yeah.
I caught you earlier
Yeah.
before the podcast. I was like, that octave change right there. Like, that was dope. And you
Yeah.
fitting it in at the right time, too. So it's like,
I kind of do that when I'm in a good mood, or it's like unconscious. It's like a tick almost when I talk like a cartoon. It's like a tick. So
got
I
it.
hope I don't annoy people. It's just I can't even help it.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. So that's what I do, and I am from another planet. I came here about 10 or 12 years ago. My time on Earth is temporary. It's coming to an end soon. And, you know, I'm just trying to do as much as I can while I'm here.
Absolutely. I love that.
I've been studying humans, studying how things work, and trying to assimilate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Nah, that's really interesting. I mean, there's some people that are listening right now and saying, okay, where are you from?
So there is a giant planet. It's the biggest planet, but it's the most lightweight planet. And
Okay.
it's not in our solar system. It's called the Puffy planet, or what I call Planet Puff. And the
Planet Puff.
gravity is a lot less there. So,
Okay.
and time moves a lot quicker. So we calculate like days and months differently there. And people don't age as much up there, which is nice, you know. But I haven't been there since I was a baby, so I can't really, I don't remember a whole lot of it. And but yeah, I don't know.
How did you discover that planet? Like, how did you? Because I mean,
How did you cover this planet?
Yeah, how did you discover this planet? What was that?
From
What was that
There-
travel time like? You know, what was that whole journey like?
It's like, you know, when you have surgery and you go, if I don't know if you've had a
Yeah,
surgery,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
broke my wrist, and
They put you under?
next thing I knew, I was awake. The only thing I remember was like being asleep. So time is like, it feels like that short when you're traveling. You're going a really long time, but you're traveling so fast that you're manipulating time, I think, in a way that's not comprehensible to the brain. I was really young, so I don't know. But yeah, it kind of feels like a blur.
Got you.
I got you.
Yeah.
What was that moment that you realized that you weren't from here? Like, how did that feel? Like, you know,
Or did you always know?
I always knew.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks because, you know, it's
Why is
like there's a lot of times when I was young, I just wanted to feel normal. There's a lot of things I struggle with down here physically, mentally, just because I just feel different. And, but in a way, I was like, you know what, though? This is a good thing. This is going to be a good thing because it will help me in other areas to stand out. Yeah, I struggle.
I understand
I
that
just,
completely.
you know, I would just be like, why can't I be like a normal kid? Even now, a lot of people catch me saying that. Why can't I just be like normal? Why do I have to be sick? Why do I have to go through all this? And
I got so much on that.
yeah, it's like I just want to be better. I just wish I could be like them, or why can't I sound like this, or why can't I sound like that? But at the same time, I think maybe I'm not viewing myself from the lens of other people where they're like, well, I wish I could be weird and different. It's like, yeah, well, it comes with downfalls, but
No,
Yeah.
it's the
It
most
is a good
beautiful.
thing.
It's the
Yeah.
most beautifulest thing. I think in my life, I had the majority of my problems when I struggled in life on this planet was when I was trying to be like someone else. That's when it seemed like every time I had a problem, it's like I was comparing myself to someone else. And why am I not like that? Why
Right.
am I not like that? That was always the issue. And then I got to this point where I had the I'm a PG, but the F it button just kind of kicked in, and I started to accept the person that was in the mirror for all the quirks and all the little ticks and all those little things, and saying, you know what, this is who I am. And that's when I started to live, like really live.
Yes.
You know, and love it. Love the fact that I'm different. Love the fact that you're not like me and I'm not like you. And that also makes me more interested in you. I'm
Yeah.
more engaged because of your individuality. Like when you start walking down the street, I start dancing a little bit. On the inside,
Nice,
I had
yeah.
you ever see that GIF with Shaq when he goes like
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
he's got that cute little face
Yeah,
with his
yeah,
pursed lips. Yeah, I know what you're
absolutely.
talking
That's
about.
what I felt that a little bit. I was like this, like, oh, this is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a fun one.
Yeah,
So,
no, I'm glad because there was people sitting outside that were like,
absolutely.
yeah.
As
I mean,
they should. As they should.
I'm used to that. But yeah.
All right, interesting. So you know what? The music, because you said something about scoring. I don't think you would be. It'd be hard for you. I think it'd be just the
Yeah.
evolution of your creativity.
Mhm.
You know, I think that definitely, and I can. I'm really interested on how did you. When did we always say the two best days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why you were born.
Oh.
No, it seems like music is kind of the thing when you're doing. You realize that's who you are in this beautiful universe that we reside in, right? That's the thing that gets you up in the morning. It's the catalyst to everything that you were just speaking of.
Yeah.
So when did you find out that you loved that? Like when did that moment happen? You said that's the thing. That's the thing.
I always
The thing
liked
thing.
doing it, but I didn't know that it was ever going to be a thing. I didn't know I could do it. For actually a long time in my career, even though I was like giving it 100, I was still like, I don't know if this will happen.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I know this is my thing. This is what I want to do
Yes.
for the rest of my life. But we live in this society that it's like you think you have to, live conventionally or, have a normal job or have a plan B or whatever. And so it kind of prevents a lot of people from saying, no, this is what I was here to do. I'm going to give it 100%. It kind of makes you hesitate a little bit. And yeah, there's been times in my life where I've been like, well, I don't know. I really want this with all my heart. I live for this. I want this to happen. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, should I go balls to the wall? And yeah, it's kind of like a balance between figuring out, I think, how you can make it work and also like staying true to who you are. It's very that I actually like have never really admitted that I mean, obviously this is what I do all day and want to do for the rest of my life, but I always was like worried, oh, is this just going to be like more of a hobby? Even though I am making money off of it, it's like, oh, is this consistent enough to be?
I
Right.
don't. I
Yeah.
think
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Do the thing. For
Yeah,
one.
but
So you landed on that eventually.
There's so many buts, and there shouldn't be. I'm one of
Right.
those butt people.
Everything after butt is BS.
That-
I'm gonna tell you like this.
That's what my therapist says.
If you weren't doing music, I always go back to this, and Snickers needs to probably pay us for this. But I say I'm like
Okay.
when I'm
You hear that,
you
Snickers?
hear that Snickers? Let's do that.
Come through.
This segment brought to you by.
So I always look back at the Betty White commercial.
Yeah.
I'm like when I don't do art or when I'm not using my creativity, I'm like Betty White before she bit that Snickers. I'm hangry.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not doing this, I can tell by the way I feel. When I get down, I get that paint and that canvas, or I get a chance to like edit something that I really enjoy. I want to create something. When I'm doing that, I'm immersed. I feel one with that. There's nothing else matters. It's
Yes,
me. It's,
yes.
And that's what I feel like when you're talking about the things you love. I was like, that's it. Like you would do this even if none of this was attached to it. Like if you found it and it was like it's therapeutic.
I would do it no matter what. And at this point, I feel like I've come too far and I've overcome so much. How dare I not continue to do that? And I think the world has changed around us because when I started doing this, the world, I hate to say it, wasn't as open as it is now.
Yeah.
There wasn't as many resources. People weren't. Now it's a little bit more normal to start your own business, to live an unconventional life. And I was living an unconventional life before that was more normal and before it was accepted. Now I feel like it is more accepted. And even my parents are like, yeah, you're doing the right thing. You got your together. I always was doing this as a business for such a long time, but I in my head was like, well, this, yeah, but, and I'm one of those people that always is a but person. My therapist, Aisha, she's like, oh, here comes that big but, and I'm like, yeah, and it's like I automatically, I think it's the perfectionist in me. I've always, I've doubted myself in order to prove myself wrong. You don't need to doubt yourself or question yourself. In fact, I felt that that's held me back a lot in times,
I think
whereas
there's a point in
Absolutely.
that. I think
Yeah.
there's a
We all
point
have
in that,
self-doubt. Like, no, of course,
like,
absolutely.
oh,
And
is
then
this
there's
going to work? 80% of businesses fail.
Yeah, and then there's layers on top of that where you might have there's naysayers, whether it's in your family or friends or whatever. There's going to be people that are like, you suck or whatever. Like if you're doing something, you're just going to keep getting better at it. Yeah. I mean, I know. So we started my printing business 9 years ago, and the quality that we're doing now versus 9 years ago is obviously way different.
Yeah.
And so like you're good in any craft. Mine just happens to be printmaking, and yours is doing hip hop, and Corey's is making podcasts, and so we're going to develop
and so much more.
Yeah,
Well, of course.
it's obvious. Yeah.
I'm doing more than just
Yeah,
printing.
I
I'm
was
just
gonna say
I'm just making little highlights.
Councilman now. I'm almost. Hopefully when this
Keeping it
comes
short.
Crossing our
Sweet.
fingers.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the setup we had when we first started recording together versus now. I mean, if you go back to some of those old episodes, you could hear all those P's and S's right in your ears, just pop, pop. Like it was like a little bit too much. So, I mean, and me with my, I went from
Explosives.
like used old copiers to newer machines, better equipment, and so and knowing kind of what to look for and being more. Relating to our customers in a different way. There's always going to be that development as long as you're trying to continue getting better. So
yeah, all you have to do is try and show up. It is a marathon. It's not a track meet. Not to shout out to
that.
Ice Cube, but yeah,
Ice Cube.
life is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a track meet. It's a marathon, and I think I didn't realize that until I got a little bit older. But yeah, like because I think another thing that somebody said, I don't know who, but is one of the wisest things I've heard, and it was don't wait till you're good enough to start doing something. And it's like, yeah, fake it till you make it. Learn as you go. I kind of started out knowing just a little bit, thinking, okay, well, what else? And the more I learn, the more I'm like, oh man, there's so much more to learn. I'm always going to be growing. You don't have to wait till you're like good enough. You can kind of get messy, and things don't have to always look and sound the best. It's
Actually, that's the beauty of it.
yeah, you will hold yourself back by. I feel like now I'm the quality that I'm putting out now, I have a standard. I have to put it out. And so there's all this unreleased stuff that I haven't even put out yet because I'm like, oh, well,
I got to redo that one.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not, I don't think that's doubt. I think that's love. You
Yeah.
love it so much, you want to make sure it's presented in the right way,
Yes.
that they can receive it at the quality that you hear it, like that you're creating it. And I don't think that's doubt. I think that's because your process is your process. You have a high standard, like you said. And also, we were talking about the doubt thing and talking about like. Let me go to this. We were talking about making sure all the stars don't have to align before you make your first move. How important it is to be messy and to go in not being good, because even like how I look at it is like where you start at. If you don't have everything, good, because when you start to work, even like podcasting, you start with minimal equipment, and most people, I asked the guy who helped me set up the podcast, what was the number one thing that everybody messes up when they get the equipment? He said they get too much. What you want to do is you want to start small, learn that equipment, and then grow off of that. Because
Much easier.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
the process is much easier. Keep it simple, stupid. Like
I love
I
that.
don't have to
Same.
go in and get.
That was
Yep.
what he told
You don't
me.
have,
Exactly.
you don't have to go in and get all this insane audio
Yeah.
equipment. You need a laptop, and you can write songs like with. I still use a cracked iPad like from 12 years ago to just like warm up my voice and write songs on. And yeah, you don't need. You keep it simple.
Keep it simple,
Yeah,
and you'll
grow
grow
over time.
You'll grow if you really love it and you really stick to it. It'll be inevitable. It'll be inevitable. You'll grow little by little, and by not skipping steps, every level you hit. There's something that happens when you skip steps. Like I say, growth should be a residual of your actions a lot of times, because sometimes when you hyper grow it and you're up here, there is so many steps in between. If you fall up here, there's nothing to stop you down here. But if you go little by little and learn that whole plateau, and then go up a little and learn that whole plateau, and you start growing, if something was to happen up here, you'll actually be able to handle it because you got a skill set.
You already have fallen before. You're
Right.
like, no,
Talk
I know,
that
I
talk.
know what this is. I don't have to freak out.
That's
yeah.
it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So what was it like when you first started doing? Or, you know what? Hold on. Let's go a little further. What were you
Okay.
like as a child?
Oh, no.
That's where I want to go to because I was like, I think it's deeper.
I was actually like, I met my neighbors like for the first time the other day, and the girl lives across the street. She like went to the same school as I did growing up, and like some of the teachers are still there, which is crazy. And I'm like thinking back. They're like, how were you, you know, when you were a kid? And I'm like, oh God. So I am a lot like I am now.
Okay.
I think some people thought I was annoying just because I was kind of bubbly and outgoing, but also too, I used to hide in people's lockers. I used to,
Yeah,
I
you're
just
different.
felt like
You said
I
hide
went
people's
through,
lockers?
yeah, I went through a really miserable time as a kid when I was really young, where I had really bad depression and anxiety, like really bad. It hit me out of nowhere for no reason. I guess, you know, maybe I genetically have it or something, but I was like in the hospital in and out as a kid for it because it was that bad. I couldn't eat. I didn't want to like get out of bed. I was totally like a zombie.
Absolutely.
And and not a lot of people know that, like that it was that bad. But yeah, I do struggle with it like pretty seriously. And so I think once I got treatment for that, and I really matured quickly. So I kind of felt my happiest, or figured out that there really aren't any rules to life. And to make life, like school is very, why, like, let's make this a movie. Like, let's just, like, throw little things in there to, like, have fun with this, like, goofs and gaffs, you know? Like, and, so I would like to dress up. I'd like to, like, find something that would make a boring time fun. You know what I mean? Even if it's just, like, a little thing. And so I think a lot of people might have found me annoying because, you know, I was trying to have fun with things, and, you know, I just didn't take life as serious. I didn't take life seriously.
But eventually you found a balance.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, that's the thing is I took everything very seriously before, a little bit too seriously.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a balance, obviously. But when I was a kid, I was eccentric, and I also very deep and dark and a little bit mature for my age.
What type of grades were you getting as a student?
I was pretty good. I got pretty good grades. I average, above average. Thing is, though, a lot of that mental health stuff did interfere with going to school, wanting to go to school. Like, I had to be schooled from, like, homeschooled for, like, a year or something when I was, you know, in the hospital. But, no, I mean, like, I enjoyed the social aspect of it, and I actually did very well with school. In college, I did even better. I felt like I am a disciplined person.
Right.
And I really do like to learn, and I'm not one of those people that, like, procrastinates doing something or, like, putting it off. I'll do papers and homework right away, you know.
Okay, that was the issue
I'm not
for
one
me.
of those, like, last minute, like, fly by the seat of your pants type of people. Sometimes I do with things that don't matter, but with school, you know, I did good.
You did okay. But you know what? That kind of. So I suffered with severe anxiety, especially younger age when I was 15. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing though. Actually, I found out it wasn't a disability; it was a super ability. There's a reason why. It's a reason why we question everything. We've been questioning everything, and there's a reason why we like to. That we always check in the boxes and those things. I mean, it's a superpower in a sense. If you let it consume you, it becomes a disability.
Yes,
again.
exactly. Use it as your strength.
Absolutely.
Don't get carried away.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because we were always asking questions, but you ask questions enough, you're going to understand, you're going to start getting the answers, and then there's no more questions to ask. But I think we're so used to asking questions that we continue to ask. It just becomes like a repetitive thing, but I found out that was my ability to think, play the tape all the way through, but not so far through that I get consumed in it and start to be delusional, but enough where, like, okay, I can think of 3 steps, and I kind of leave it at that, you know what I mean? Because if I go a little further, I'll
You
just
don't
keep
get carried
going.
away. I'm an OCD type of person too, so it's like I have to find that balance between like let's not go too hard on ourselves and let's still push the gas at the same time.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, because a lot of artists I think do suffer with some type of, mental thing, or they're just deep thinkers, or they're neurotic. And so I've had to learn to try to, because I always thought I needed anxiety to keep me going, and I was like, well, that makes me miserable, and that kind of takes the fun out of it. So it's like, how do you stay motivated and push yourself and still think, and also like be able to chill and relax and
Come on.
like it's
you were talking about like
it is hard to find that balance, but
Who
that
told
balance
you about
exists.
me? Who told you about me? That's you know my therapist very well, don't you?
Oh my God.
Speaking of that, going through these type of things as a creative, because it is a common thing. Being an individual is one of the hardest things in the world when you first discovering it. I think you start to settle into it, but staying true to it is another problem. But I think a lot of people that are really individuals, and it's mental health is something that kind of comes along with that. How did you overcome some of the struggles that you dealt with when you were younger?
Honestly, I think it's a miracle that I'm still here, because the things that I've had to overcome in my life, I don't think that I don't know if I don't know.
Yeah.
They were that crazy, and they're that rough, I gotta say. And even like just a few years ago, getting sick, it was almost like that all over again. Like, it was very scary, because on top of anxiety, I ended up with this weird breathing condition.
Okay.
And I'm a performer. You got to breathe, and like that'll cause anxiety,
the
right?
universe didn't make it easy for you.
No,
You
the
had to
universe
fight for
did not
everything.
make anything easy on me. And
But the fact that you're still here, do you feel like you're here for a reason? The fact that you've come this far?
I feel like the universe is trying to get rid of me. I don't know. Yeah, like, and I have to fight. I have to fight for the right to.
Going down swinging.
Yeah, I feel like I always have to fight for the right to create and turn my life into art. But maybe all that pain is good to put towards my art. But then, when it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know if this is good enough. What was all this suffering for? There's all this, there's like a lot of self-doubt too. How I got over these things, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, I just keep going. Sometimes it's just, you just keep going. You just stay alive. Just stay alive. Like,
Some things we don't got words for.
Right.
But when the time comes, it seems like we know what to do. Like, just keep going. And maybe we don't know what to do, but I will cry to keep going forward, but I can't cry to stop. I realize that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna deal with some things, and life is like, this is what makes life beautiful, because if there was none of this, these moments wouldn't feel like the way they feel.
Yeah.
Like, when something comes in front of you, if there's a task or something like that, or if there's an obstacle, and the world feels like it's shitting on you. You kind of can look at it and smile, because you can realize what you already accomplished. You said, this is a small things to a damn giant out here. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't even know who you looking at. Like, when that crowd is looking, like, most people probably go on that stage and is scared of the crowd, but you can probably switch your mindset, say, the crowd better be scared of me. You know what I mean? Because I done worked too hard for this.
Yeah, actually, I think when I start talking and opening up, and I'm actually just myself, people really are very receptive to what I have to say, and they're very loving. And I thought, how am I going to do this with this breathing condition? I'm so scared. Like, how am I going to perform with this? And like, I came so far, and then boom, I got knocked down to where like there were days I couldn't even get out of bed. I couldn't even talk. I had to go to the doctor all the time. And I'm like, everything I worked hard for, like when this big thing comes in and like collapses. But so I became inventive. I became innovative, and I figured out what was going on with me. I got treatment, obviously, but I started to perform wearing breathing devices. Since I have a breathing condition, I said, well, this will help me. I was like trying to, practice, and I'm like, well, what would help, right? And I was experimenting with different things, and so now I'm manufacturing a breathing device, and hopefully it'll help people with what I have. But that's why I started wearing the mask. And I thought, this is, I am weird, so I can pull it off, even if I couldn't. Like, but just throwing myself into that fire and talking about it, and like, walking around looking crazy, people actually don't judge you. Like, and they actually appreciate you for being vulnerable. Like, they
absolutely.
don't really care. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, people actually don't care. Like, I thought, oh man, I'm like, you know, people are going to think I'm even more weird or stupid. But no, like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask, you know, for these problems to happen. So I'm going to do whatever I can. If I have to look weird, I don't care. And I think that's where you come to the point of the F it. Like,
the effort button.
yeah,
Yes,
no
yes.
matter what comes your way, I'll figure out a way to get through this. And if you don't care about looking stupid, it actually kind of helps you out. And people will resonate with that because they're anxious too.
Absolutely. You have to be able to be thought foolish. Like you have to be okay with that.
I like that, yeah.
Especially when you're doing something in an entrepreneurial journey, something that's never been done. You have to be dumb before you become wise, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah,
you gotta be
you
okay
do.
with that. You got to
Being
try some
cringy.
things. Yeah, you got to be an individual. Like you got to go out and be okay with not being cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not being like looked at on this. You ever heard of this thing called the spotlight effect? The spotlight effect. You ever
I
heard
have,
of
but
that?
I forget exactly
Yeah,
this
So
metaphor.
the spotlight effect is like we live like we have this spotlight on us. Like everything we do, people out there are going to notice. 99% of the time, no one gives a damn.
Yeah, they're not going to remember.
Yeah,
if you mess up, they're not going to remember. If you
Yeah.
fall into, I tripped and fell at Walmart. Nobody's going to remember. There's.
That's real. It's a real thing. You know, it's what somebody else thinks of you is not going to affect your life. Is what you think of you, and sometimes we think of us like everybody else is thinking of us instead of us think. It's a lot of us thinking of. It's a lot of thinking.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of thinking going on.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just got to do and be okay with your abilities and where it's at. Just be okay.
Yeah,
with that.
another thing, about being creative too is sometimes shut your mind off and just like try to be in the moment, and that's helped me the most. I know that like I don't like how this sounds, but it's helped me and it's protected me in a lot of ways. Is kind of being numb to a lot of things, not like shutting my mind off and just doing it and being calm and being present in the moment and doing things. Because if I work myself up or I think too much thinking it'll help, it doesn't. It ends up physically, it hurts me, mentally it hurts me, it kind of holds me back. So I think I found that trying to be numb and just going and doing it and like writing lists and just trying not to overthink or like overwhelm yourself and tire yourself out, it helps really being present and in the moment.
So I have that's absolutely, I love that.
Yeah.
I have a little bit different way of wording it or looking at that, but I do something very similar, and I've talked about it here, which is like to budget just like you budget your money, hopefully, you also budget your time and your energy and your thoughts and your peace.
Yes.
And you start to value those things more and more as you get older. But like what I'm hearing from you as you're saying that is that, you know, you just want to budget that energy and your peace and that in a way where you have to kind of numb certain things or ignore those
unnecessary
exactly
things. Yeah.
Otherwise you got to kind of suppress something so that you can expand on what it is that you want so it's a very it's self-control. It's a lot of self-control to be able to say, no, I don't want to be spending my time on
this isn't going to help me.
That energy isn't going to work for me. I need to be doing this.
Thinking these negative thoughts isn't going to help me.
But once you say no to that negative energy, and once you say no to things that take your peace away, it's very rewarding and very powerful for the things that come next.
I love that. Is there a certain process that you do to do that, or like how do you become present? Is there an exercise you do? Do you meditate? Because that sounds like meditation a little bit. Like that.
It's hard to realize that something's taking such a big chunk out of you until you really how do you take notice that you're like, wait, I'm thinking about this too much. I need to stop that.
I spent a lot of my life overthinking everything and I really did, or just worrying that I wasn't gonna live up to, or I would disappoint people, or what are they gonna like? I spent a lot of time like overthinking that, and I think it was like 2016, 2017. I don't know what happened, but I just like decided to let all that go and live in the present, and I felt so free. I was like, I felt my best then. That was right before I got sick too. And then once I
was
got
gonna
sick,
ask
that
you.
crap came all back up. But
I
you
definitely
know
saw
what?
that, like you were like on that rise, and like you came out with a couple pieces of music, and you were playing shows, and then I saw that happen, and it was just kind of destructive in that momentum for sure.
Yeah, and that really sucked because that also too made me feel bad because I was like, oh man, like, but I think also too, like, you have to sometimes take a step back for your health. Like,
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean anything. Like, you know, if you're going through a serious health thing, you can, don't feel like it's going to kill your momentum. You're just going to pick right back up where you left off. But now I'm starting to get back to that. Once I got better and I knew what was going on with me and I knew, okay, like, this is what I can do and I got this, like, I stopped overthinking things so much. And I actually feel like I can do even more than before I was sick. So, yeah, it's like sometimes you can't be afraid to take a step back a little bit. If something really catastrophic happens, like, if anything interferes with my music, I get really upset, or I'm like, oh, my health. And it does still frustrate me a lot because there's a lot of times where I do have to conserve my energy, or I need more rest, or I do get sick more. I have to be careful not to get sick, and I have to take more self-care. But
Man, health.
Yeah.
They say health is wealth. That's a real thing. You
Absolutely.
only can learn from the things you survive. We said that quite a few times on this podcast. It's your tool. A lot of times, we get to this level, we hit this plateau where we develop the skills, we develop these things and those things, and we know a lot. But to be able to do a lot, you have to have the vehicle. You know what I mean? Your vehicle has to be up to par. Like, touring, that takes not just the stress on your mind, but it's a body thing. Like, how are you going to hit these towns or hit 10 towns in 5 days?
that's
You know what I'm
why
saying?
that's why you don't worry, you don't overthink yourself.
Yeah.
You just, like, seriously, taking a lot of that mental strain off really helps. And also too, allow yourself to rest. Like,
Yeah.
not everything is so important. Like, people are very, like, grind all day, 24/7, never sleep. I'm team no sleep. I'm out here, and it's like,
You got to eat lightning and shit.
and it's like
Rocky.
some of the stuff that
that's
they're doing is like
That just
not
got hyped me up a
even
little bit.
necessary. Like, take the time, get your sleep. You'll be able to go longer. These people are gonna burn out. I've seen so many people burn out. And I've been doing this for a long time, sick or not. And I know there's not many people that could do that, but you have to really stay calm and don't be afraid to rest and don't be afraid to say, like, no, like, and
You
do
said
the
it.
yeah.
It's a marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid to, like, rest and chill out. Like, people are very, I got to be on my grind all the time. It's more or less being smart with your time.
Absolutely.
Working smarter and not necessarily harder. Yeah.
I thoroughly I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? Because that's something I have been doing is I've been slowing down to on that aspect. Because I always, they say don't mistake movement with progress. I was moving so much thinking that was the progress. That was the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Where now I'm understanding, to take the time to sit down, rest, and study.
Yes,
And
yeah.
actually understand why I made this move. Why, like, I'm
Direction and thoughtfulness.
absolutely, absolutely understand the thinking, understand what's going on with me, what's going on with my decision making. How can I make a better decision? How can I shorten the road but still heighten the impact? Because it's not always about there's some people out there like Floyd Mayweather. He's not the hardest puncher, but he's the best boxer that ever lived. It was the strategy. It was knowing how not to waste energy. It was knowing how to move.
That's
It's
very
not-
important in
yeah.
boxing is how not to wipe out and waste energy.
Yeah. And
A
not
lot
how
of
to
people
get
wipe
hit.
out. Yeah.
How do you not get hit? So how do I not get hit this time? How do I throw the punch but still put up the guard and be able to survive to the next round and do that enough where I can actually win the match? I don't have to be a knockout artist. I just have to keep grinding my way through and more efficiently. And I don't need to worry about being the best tomorrow. But as time goes on, there might be a level where I may be considered as that. Do I want it or not? It's probably just going to be a part of it. And I do believe that that's possible. I believe it's in my mind. I don't know.
Yeah, artists do
I
get
might
hit.
went on a little rant.
They get no artists get hit the hardest though. I gotta say, like
Yeah.
I think artists are always the ones that have to pay for everything, and then they get paid last. And like you know, you gotta pay for what your PR, you gotta pay for your releases, studio time. You gotta pay for the art. You know, so it's like another thing that I am trying to do now is to put out the best I've always tried to do this, but put out the best quality I can and not break my back doing it. Do as much as I can for on my own, or have friends that come in and help, or just know where to go to get good things done, good quality done for cheap. And I think that's another good resource too, is knowing where to spend your money, how much, and like
Yeah. We ain't gonna say quality for cheap, but quality that's in the budget. That's
Yeah.
how I
no,
like-
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like
Right.
you're not like spending for no reason. Like
Right. 'Cause
you're
I-
just being very smart with your decisions on how to like go about things.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of artists do that as well, where they're doing phenomenal work, but sometimes the materials they use, or even if they have it, it's just on the cheaper end because they feel like that's just the route to go. But sometimes by investing, because I don't call it spending. I don't,
Investing.
Yeah, it's investing.
Investing, yeah.
Investing into better quality, but it's still in your budget. You don't want to
Yeah.
wanna kill yourself or nothing. But like, so that's kind of why I said that. I was like, but because I know your work is quality because you're dealing with quality people, and
Yeah.
you're investing in yourself. You don't look at it as a purchase; it's an investment in what you do. Now, speaking of your work, though,
I got
Yeah.
questions.
I was actually going to ask you guys, as artists and creatives and
Yeah.
business people, what do you think the most important thing to spend your money on is?
knowledge.
Knowledge is good.
Knowledge could be free. YouTube.
Yeah.
I love
that's
YouTube.
that's
I love
a time
YouTube.
spend.
Yeah,
You know.
that is time though.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
That's
think
a tough
doing
one.
it, the practice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the equipment isn't necessarily the thing, but you have to know how to use it. You need to make it an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
So the more you can interact with it, when we get new like machines, like a new copy machine or a new printer
Yeah.
at our print shop, we got one a few months ago, and there's all sorts of little quirks. These machines are amazing, but there's millions of different settings and options and all sorts of stuff. So when my business partner, Brittany, my fiance, she was at like I was working on something and kept getting a bunch of paper jams and things weren't going right. But then she's like, "Are you gonna be okay with this?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're just getting to know each other. Like I've only been
That's a
using
good
this copier
attitude to
for a
think,
couple months, and I gotta push it to its limits so I know what the limits are. I gotta see what how to tweak things, how to make it do what I want it to do, and with any type of thing, whether that's your software for when you're recording, engineering, mixing, the microphones, whatever it is, you have to do it 100 different ways and figure out which one was the best result, and then you have 100 different options, and so you have to do it a million times to actually like now that you have something that you're like, oh, this clicked, now I want it to all be this way. Now you have that standard that you set for yourself. So, but you have to do it so many times before you get there.
So you're saying time is the best investment?
Time
I think
is,
so.
yeah. I
I
think
think
for
so.
me,
I love that.
And trial and error.
yeah.
Yeah, I know that we might not be the cheapest print shop in town, and I don't necessarily want to be the cheapest, but I want to have the best quality work, and so I would like to be somewhere in the middle. I want to be less expensive than some of the major brands, so that we have some room to a reason why people would want to work with us. And then, or one more reason, but crush them on quality, crush them on price. So, there's really.
And also be like there more,
Right.
and just the fact that you're better customer service and everything. I think for me, it's the quality as well. I think I spend the most money on probably studio time, mixing. And I find that I always stick with the same producers because they are, you know what I mean? It's having that person that knows the recipe.
And And that took time too. You guys had to learn each
You
other.
got to do trial and error.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
work through a few different people, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I still even like to work with new people to this day, and I think they catch on quickly. I just like to experiment with new sounds, and that does cost money though. You know,
Right,
if you're
right.
yeah. So, but I think that's probably what I spend my most money on. But I'm not gonna lie, for artists, like if there's PR companies out there, they charge a ton of money, and like. You know what? It does save you a lot of time of having to sit behind your computer all day and doing stuff. But
And they're a resource because that's their
Yeah.
job. They know who exactly to reach out to, and
Yeah.
how to format it, how to get it read, how to put it in a way where the people they're communicating,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, but I also think there's a like I'm just like there's some people that have to
There's a
reach
level.
that level.
Right,
Yeah, there's
right.
a level where you have to get to that. I think it is important to grind it out, understand what is going on, so when you hire somebody, you'll know what the criteria is. To
exactly,
make
and you'll
sure
be able
they
to see
fit.
through any BS if
Right.
if you try to hire someone and
Yes,
they're not up to the par that you need.
exactly.
So you need to have
Yeah.
some
Right.
level of
And
understanding.
and that's why I said
Yeah.
when what Lex was saying earlier, that you don't have to wait for all the stars to align to go out and do something. To go out there and be thoughtful.
Hey.
Just go out there and like try it with nothing and
Yes.
keep
Right.
building on top of it. And
Absolutely.
I think there's a level where now it's instead of me using my time to do this, it's
Yes.
it's a better investment to let someone else handle
Yes.
these things so I can do more of this thing.
Correct.
Because you
You split off.
Yeah. It's I think it's a process, and that may not be everybody's process, but it sounds like
That's exactly
the-
how I started out doing it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but a lot of people would come to me for advice. So I think it's just like that's how I've been doing things. Yeah, which is actually kind of weird thinking back now. I'm thinking back to the days when I would, like this is kind of wild. Yeah.
So I have a question about your music and like how much of it is out online
boy.
right now.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have more questions. Like when did you start publishing music and like to what formats? Like were you on MySpace? Were you on like SoundCloud? Were you on Pure Volume or like what era of the internet
I don't know Pure
would you?
Volume.
Okay, it was back in the day.
Damn.
And like where like obviously I've seen your stuff on Spotify, Apple Music.
Yeah.
Give me an idea of
Man.
like when was stuff first getting out and published,
Oh my
and
God.
like what's that catalog kind of look like for someone that
There's
might not know you?
so much hidden stuff.
Okay.
Okay. There's so much like
Wait, like published but like
Bet
not.
there's
Published
some
that-
YouTube videos out there that she doesn't want nobody to find. Or
Oh
Lex
yeah,
doesn't want
but
nobody to find.
people have found them though. But no, I mean, like there's a lot of stuff I've distributed way early in my career that I've taken down, and I have no idea where it is now because it's when I first started out. I mean, I'm sure it's out there, but I want to say like I had MySpace when I was in middle school. I would make like little weird beats and like make like electronic like hip hop kind of, or I would make
So you
like
did have a
mashups.
MySpace that had music on it.
I did, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I did a bit, but I would say like
Same.
yeah, oh you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I a lot of people actually, no joke, like found me through there and are still following me today.
That's amazing.
Remember
like
Ustream? You ever?
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
hear, but that like went away. That was
I
like,
didn't
what,
use it, but I remember hearing
2016?
about it.
Yeah,
Remember
that was about 10 years ago, so about 2013. Yeah, Joe Rogan really kind of started on that as well.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I-
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I did something with that. I got a whole story for it later. One of these podcasts
All right,
we'll
all
talk
right.
about it.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I've saw some of his earlier Ustreams, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
A
I
lot-
thought it was
those
around
are
in
the
like
ones they were putting
2016.
on YouTube when he was sitting in this like his house. Yeah, those were a lot of them were on Ustream.
So what I think what I probably have out now is obviously my newest and best stuff. Like I had right before I got sick, I put out an album called Chase Dreams Not Boys. It's a vaporwave. I have some film score like interludes in there. It's hip hop, but it's mixed with a little bit of 80s synthwave. This was like in 2017 or 2018. I released it right before I got sick, and then I'm not sure if that's still up because I recently switched distributors, which I've never done. First time in my life I've done that. But my album Empty Life Syndrome is an album I made literally on my deathbed. And it's actually, like, I had to kind of rush it towards the end because I was getting really sick. Okay. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I was kind of like, how do you put it? Really, like, doing everything I could to finish it. And I put it out.
You were hustling. You were, I got to get every minute out of every day.
I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot of it myself. Like, I would be tweaking, like, levels on my own, trying to, like, just get the best mix I could so I could just put it out. And it actually sounded really good, and I learned a lot through doing that. But I put that out, and it's a very solid body of work that really goes through all the emotions of being somebody that suffers with a really serious illness. And it's a solid hip-hop album, and that's like the one album that definitely is out there that you can find very easily. And since then I've just been dropping we're in single mode. Like, I hate that we're kind of there in music, but with my label, they encourage, like, let's do a 5 single rollout. So I've just been collecting, holding back, collecting music and polishing and perfecting it. I released Candy Bar. That's out there, so I've got a bunch of singles out there. But you can dig and find old stuff in my career.
So
you can.
What year do you think the first actual with your brand, the first?
2014,
okay.
2013, 2015, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So like 9 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. And what if someone wanted to go to their favorite music platform and they type in Lexa Terrestrial, and what song would you want them to hear first?
Ooh, that's a good question. Question.
Like, as of right now, you're like, ooh, yeah, listen to this one just to get an idea of who you are and kind of what you're. It's a good one.
There's probably like 4.
Okay, yeah, great. Get them.
I would say Sad Girl Raps. Featuring Ritz. I think that's definitely kind of where I'm currently at. It's got this grungy vibe. So Sad Girl Raps featuring Ritz. It's bars, it's flow, it's a mood, right?
Why is that though? Why that song? It
hits. It's like the beat's really good, but mostly it encapsulates, I think, what I'm currently doing right now, and it was almost like I predicted the future with that song in a way. Like, I predicted, I knew what I would do before. I don't know. It's so weird. It's hard to explain, but it was almost like I was predicting the future of even where music was going. And I'm really good at predicting where I think, or I used to be at least, I would be good at like predicting trends. Right. But yeah, that track, and I want to say Bad Timing. It's like a boom bap, like 90s kind of lo-fi, just straight up real like lyrics in that one. I'd also say, let's see.
You should make a playlist for
I have a playlist. It's called
just like these core.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I have a playlist of like the essentials. It is like an alien hip hop playlist. It's Lexa Terrestrial. It also has like other female rappers on there.
Cool.
It's out there. I think I've shared it before. Bad Timing. It's also off Empty Life Syndrome. Maybe I'd say Can't Get Your Love Back, which is like a very 90s R&B kind of song.
I would ask why, but I think does the title say it?
Can't Get Your Love Back. It's a song about, and I still feel this way, just feeling like you're too weird to be with somebody. Like, oh, well, I have this quirk and I have that quirk. But it was really about like, I really did like somebody at the time a lot, like unlike that I've liked anybody else before. And for the most part, I'm asexual. I don't care about love. I don't care about sex. Right. It's not really on my priority to-do list. Like, it's just, it never has been. But I was really sick at the time, and I just felt like I can't do this, and it sucks because, and it's kind of like one of those things where, this is interfering with the fact that anybody that feels like, I'm too weird, I can't, like, I don't know if I could date because I feel like my life is in a weird spot right now. It's kind of about that. Yeah. And I would say another one maybe, LL&P or Star Spitter. Star Spitter's got this like bounce, this groove. Okay. It does tell my life story, but with an attitude. It's got like this hardcore scream at the end. So Star Spitter or LL&P. LL&P is definitely like this upbeat like anthem. But I listen to these songs too, and even now I'm like, oh, I could have changed this. I could add this. I
that's
could
your
do
mind.
this.
Yeah.
Even now, yeah.
That's what builds on
You
the
gotta
next one.
stop. At
Yeah.
a certain point, you gotta stop. Just stop,
Yeah.
tweaking, because you're gonna end up in. I'm one of those
You can
people that'll
overdo
tweak.
it. You
Yeah,
can overdo it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I
I mean,
know.
I-
Trust me.
Just wait a certain amount of time, then like Taylor Swift, she came out with Taylor's version, redid the whole
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
sold it again the second time.
I think that's very
You know,
clever.
but that's 10, 20 years later.
yeah.
Absolutely. So
You'll be all right.
Who's one of the people that influence you? Like who? Like, and I'm talking about that was a deep influence of why you probably even started or wanted to do music. You know?
Okay.
Not nobody recent.
I definitely listened to a lot of hip hop when I was a kid, obviously on my swing set when I was 8, and I would try to memorize the lyrics, and I think
Was there someone around in your childhood that liked listening to hip hop?
No. I mean, my friends' older brothers, and when the songs would come on in the car, I'd start going off, and they'd be like, "What the
many
hell
CDs
is
did
this
you steal back then?"
8-year-old?" No, I had so many CDs. I really did. I would say though, when I was like, "Nah, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's do this for." I think the one artist that probably inspired me to say, no, you can do this. It's okay that you're different. It's okay that you're weird. You can still do this. It doesn't matter. You can get away with it. I'd say probably Lady Gaga.
I dig it.
She's not conventional. She's not a conventional looking person. She has a lot of opinions. She's she doesn't play like the typical Holly weird game. She's very just a lot. There's so much about her. I think that
it's everything about it. Like she's even genreless. I think in certain areas because
She's on another level for sure.
When she came in, it didn't matter what genre of music you were in. Like you could work with her, and she was willing to work. And it didn't even comes down to acting. She embodies the idea of what I think creative is.
and she doesn't
unapologetically.
Yeah, she doesn't necessarily if she wants to be sexy, I'm gonna be sexy, but it's not because I'm trying to necessarily. She'll do whatever she wants, but there's always an intention behind it, and I love that. I just thought okay, she's different from other females. I feel more like her, and I've never seen another female move like her and so when I saw her, I was like, huh.
I could see that.
She
she gives herself her permission. I feel like she is, she sets the tone, and she's not waiting for other people to, and she's also down to put the work in, whatever it is.
Yeah, she's not afraid to experiment.
So seeing that as an influence, I think that's a great one to start with.
Yeah.
I think it's a dope one right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I love that.
So the music that you're writing now, which the music you're creating. I know you said you're into the single plays right now, but the music that's coming out, is it about that, get up and is it energy, or is it more in reflective of what's going on the inside? Are you what's the content that you're really tapping into right now?
So there's
at this moment?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a
Let me
long
think about
question,
this.
too.
The next song, I think a lot of what I'm writing about lately is about the world, where society's headed, how things are a little bit scary. Okay. My music is kind of it's happy, but it's also dystopian. In in an upbeat way. I always kind of present these topics in an upbeat way, but yeah, the next few songs I have, some of them are dark. I actually did a metal song for the first time, which is crazy.
I always wanted to do that.
Yeah,
wanted to do
me
that.
too, but I never thought I would do that. I've always wanted to learn how to hardcore scream, and I actually once I got sick is when I learned how to do that, and I was kind of surprised, but so I started implementing that in my music, and it sounds actually pretty cool, and I get better at doing it. So there's some songs like that, but there's also some more cute lovey-dovey R&B type of songs as well, but they all have a similar sauce, I guess you could say, but a lot of them are about, I want to say, how I'm processing the world. I write from the perspective, I think, of an alien who's observing humanity and is how do I no, you're good. How do I fit in? You know, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So
being weird in that way.
yeah, so you talk about the empty life syndrome, and there might be people that don't know what that is. So if you want to touch on that, you're welcome to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. People can look that up. And so if you look at all of the history on this planet, every generation before us has endured something, and then the next generation benefits from that. So if you're going through what you went through, and it seems like this is awful, but then you create this new product, device that you're able to work through and have a therapy. And I mean, the what's very special and specific about one is you, and then also the fact that of this syndrome is that you posted once that there's this crazy statistic that the people that are suffering from this have a very high percentage of, unaliving themselves, right?
Yeah, more than any other disease, which is very crazy.
Like, what is that percentage? I forget.
I don't know. I could look this up. I don't know the percentage offhand, but
Is
I know
it
that
double digits?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
I know that my doctor, it depends on how bad it is, and also too, like, it's a very unpredictable, paradoxical thing.
Yeah.
And thank God I was able to figure out what it was,
Right.
so that I could help myself and I could help other people. But there was a while people were like, "What is going on with you? Like, what do you like?" So yeah, it sucks. There's not a lot of help for people out there with it. But my doctor he's lost patients because of it. And
Gotcha.
yeah, I think so that's what I mean. Like, whatever you have to do to stay alive, if you got to look weird in order to, I mean, it is a very rare condition. I never heard of it. I never foresaw my life going in this direction. But now I can sit here and think, you know what? This kind of, it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it really did. And I would probably have, like, punched myself in the past if I heard myself saying that now. I'd be like, what do you mean? This sucks. Get out of here. Like, yeah, but no. I think, yeah, that I would never wish that on anybody, or, you know, it is very weird. I never saw myself getting this, but it is a man-made condition. It's like there's a lot of diseases people can get from medical malpractice, which is kind of very scary. And I never, like, that kind of made me a little bit open my eyes up to the fact that the world is what it is. I became a little jaded.
Yeah.
I've in my life, I always say this one thing: the worst thing that ever happens to you has the best impact on your life, because you'll do anything.
I hope so.
It's just, I believe me. I mean, what I've learned so far in this journey, I believe it to be true. But you'll do whatever it takes not to feel like that, or it really sometimes, even if you care enough about the world, to make sure no one else feels like that. And I feel like that's where you're at. You know, I beat cancer. It was 19. I was diagnosed with spindle cell sarcoma. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was.
And that sounds very rare. Is that rare?
Yeah, it was really rare. So at 19, it was rare, because it was like usually you get a little older. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And that's also
That's where you met your wife.
That's how I met my wife. Yeah, my wife. I met my wife getting chemo. You know what I mean?
God.
Yeah. So if it was never for that, then this would have never happened. Like the music that you put out, probably the music that was most heartfelt, because there's a different type of thinking if you don't know if you're gonna wake up tomorrow. Like this, like I'm gonna do whatever I can do today, because I don't know, tomorrow ain't promised, and you realize that life is fickle, so you better live.
Let's try this differently. Let's do this a little differently. Let's be a little more vulnerable.
Yeah, there's already, I can see it, but because I can feel it in you. But there's some special things that's gonna happen because you went all the way to the edge and you seen that, like, oh, you know what? This ain't promised, so this is why I'm not going to wait to do something. This is why I'm going to do. If it's on the one thing I'm not going to do is die with regret. I'm not going to say what if.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do it all. I don't care how. I'd rather be good than look good.
That
Don't
is,
matter.
yes,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
learned that. Yeah, I learned that. I
Yeah.
think that's one thing I really want to drive home for girls out there is that, like, we need to stop obsessing so much about how we look and, like, comparing ourselves. It'll get you into trouble. And I think now I'm, like, I've always cared more about how I sound and the ideas I put out there. And I think, you know what, that's why I wear a mask now. And I think I don't know, I encourage girls to try to live inwardly more. Because yeah, it's a trap. And I see a lot of girls, especially in the music industry, that like really feel like they need to be sexified or they have to like get this or that. And yeah, no, you don't. You could have done without it, and it's a dangerous game. Like comparing yourself is a dangerous game. Like even just being self-critical, and I'm still self-critical, you know. But
I think
yeah,
important
I
part
encourage
to
girls not to try not to be.
Yeah. Important thing to remember is, and I try to remind my son of this, is that, and myself, that no one else is going to care or think about you as much as you do.
Yeah, they don't
so,
see
like,
it as a flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you're going to be thinking, oh my goodness, I walked around all day and, you know, there's something in my teeth, or there was, you know, I had this pimple or whatever. But like, people probably didn't even give it a second thought.
By the time,
And because they're thinking about themselves and they're thinking about their pimple or their whatever it is. And like, there's no amount, like everyone is just crowding their brains with their own, you know, thoughts of themselves.
It's
way
all
too
about
often.
how they feel. Yeah, it really, when you think, oh, I'm worried about what other people think, it's really about what you think about yourself.
Right.
And let me just say this: the internet is not reality. People do not look like how they do in real life on the internet.
Yeah.
Not
So-
even 50%. Not even.
Not
so,
even.
Yeah.
Yeah. To add to that, I think that it's good to remember that people will remember how you made them feel way more than what you said or what you did or how you looked. How you make other people feel is going to go miles above. And, you know, when you do have a barbecue, when you do have a concert you want to go to and you invite someone and they're like, oh, yeah. And you think about why it is that you want to hang out with those people and you realize that it's because those people, you enjoy their company. They made you feel like it was freaking amazing.
Yeah,
right?
it's not about
First time I met
shallow
you.
things.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what you said, but I remember leaving PGHPrintShip feeling the way I felt.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And those are great indicators, man. You gotta pay attention to the things that make you smile
I
and why they do.
I could say the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. And that's where Maya Angelou. That's her quote. You know, people never gonna remember what you say. They never remember what you do. They're only gonna remember how you make them feel. Especially if you see them 5-10 years from now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they can't remember that conversation, but they knew how they felt. And that's one of the things our minds don't forget for some reason. So I think it's like nature.
Although on the internet things are lasting. Like if you post a TikTok because you're desperate to don't do something, be careful. Yeah, don't do something stupid. Like
That's a whole nother.
Focus on making people feel good and not just like doing crazy stuff for attention.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal for 1028. Any content we put out, if you watch it, you're going to be a better person after than you were before you watched it. Like that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
And that it'll be, you know, relative 5-10 years later and still be able to get some value out of it as well.
Absolutely.
Timeless.
There was videos and stuff like this that actually changed my life when I was in a dark place. Yeah, there was a time where it was going south and I was on the verge and I looked at a certain post and it had something in there that gave me the strength to say, okay, I got it. And it saved me. And I remember that. I remember how I felt.
Yeah.
You know, after that, and it's like, okay, I know I'm not the only person feeling like that. So if we can do that for just one person, like you never know who you saving, man. You know, and you never know. But just that we need good content out there. People are going to be on that thing called the internet, the intertwinings, the space age modulator field, whatever it may be. Hello,
space age modulator.
Space age modulators. But yeah, if they're going to be tapped into that, you know, they need to have something. I feel like we need more good in there than what a lot of stuff we're seeing, you know. Something that's going to at least push you to be a better person, make sure your tomorrow's are better than your yesterday's type thing, you know. That's the thing.
Put some more heart out there instead of just focusing on like, you know, likes and trying to look good. Put some
I love
focus on how you make people feel. That is very important.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So I think we at the tail end of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
are.
think,
Yeah.
I think we did. I think we did that. I think we did that. You know.
Thank you so much.
But yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
We could go on and
I
on.
think
I
this-
hope
this
I
could be-
covered
this
as
could-
much
it's
as I
never
could.
ending.
This could be a 3-hour thing.
Yeah,
I,
for
I,
sure.
like I can literally sit here and like there's so many more questions too. And we
Yeah.
had a few people on it that we are for sure there's going to be a second offender. And believe me, this is the first time, not the last time on here.
Yeah.
But you know, there's always that one question that I always like to
Yeah.
ask. You know, if you were able to sit across from the Lexa. Get this wrong, Lexa Terrestrial.
No, it is
got
hard
it.
to say. It is
I got
so
it.
hard.
And I
get
like that because now it's a challenge. Now
Yeah.
I gotta say it.
like
You know what I'm saying?
extraterrestrial. It's hard to say that. It's hard to spell it. Extraterrestrial, Lexa Terrestrial. Lexa.
I do. I have to do the spell check when I
Yeah,
type it in.
it's so.
But now I follow it on Spotify, so now I don't have to.
Hey,
I can just
hey,
type in the.
listen.
Thank you. That's how I feed myself. God bless you. Thank you so much. No, because if you're out there and you want to find me anywhere, Lexa Terrestrial, Lexa Terrestrial, like an alien, anywhere, any galaxy. I actually was the first, one of the first artists who send their art to the moon via
Nice.
the first human capsule pod with this tech company, Future Grind and Grindhouse Wetware, I think. So yeah, like that's also another thing I wanted to mention. So
Nice.
we out here.
I love that.
Yes,
Really out
please
there in the
sincerely
universe.
check it out. You know, follow us, support. I also do have a shop where I do make cool stuff. LexaTerrestrial.com.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a small business, you know, so I do things like a little at a time, and yeah.
Small business doing big things.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you're gonna be too small too long. So you guys better hurry up and hop on it while it's still on this planet. You know, we are going to Mars, and I feel like that might be the first actual convenience store out there. It could be the Lex Mart. I don't know. I don't know. That could be a thing. Our minds are out there like that. I love that though. But let me ask you a question, Lex. If you were sitting across from your younger version of yourself, the person that was actually, or the alien that was actually just starting this journey, what would be some advice that you would tell that person, or what would you tell that person?
I'd probably say you got this and you will get it. So don't even worry about it, because enjoy this ride. Like, enjoy it a little bit more. You don't need to feel the pain and the anxiety you're feeling. Try to ignore it. It doesn't matter. You got this. You're gonna get it. You don't need to worry so much. You'll be surprised, pleasantly surprised. Hopefully, yeah.
I think that alien would.
I don't know. I'm such a hard head. I was such a hard head. I don't
What do you
know.
call a baby alien?
Well, it depends.
An
I
alien
think it
baby.
depends on
Alien
what
baby.
Alien BB, but just with a BB. Alien BB.
Alien baby.
But also it depends on the planet, right? So a
Yeah.
little fluffy baby.
Yeah, fluffy baby.
What's the
Oh,
what was it?
yeah.
Puffy baby.
Puffy
Yeah,
baby. It would be it could be a puffy baby.
Puffyin.
Puffian.
Baby Puffyin.
A puffian. Oh, that's so
I ain't
cute.
mad
It's like a
at that.
Pokemon
A
kind of
baby
thing.
puff. It is kind of like it does kind of look
Puff
a little
baby.
bit like like a human mixed with the Pokemon character a little bit. It's got the eyes, you know.
Puffyoid. That could be a thing. Well, George, let me we can go on for 20 minutes. This is
good.
this is really fun. But George, what about you? If you were to sit across from the younger version of the person that was starting this journey, what would you say?
Just that everything's gonna end up all right, and that it wasn't something that I like over worried about as a kid, but there was definitely some like questioning of, why am I doing this? What is this? Why is this happening? And I remember when there was a Green Day song that came out. It's somewhat unpredictable, but in the end, it's right. Like that one summer that played like on a loop in my head, and it just kind of like that was the message that I needed at that time, and so that like is definitely
Those lyrics
Yeah.
actually it's like, don't worry, enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
It is normal to question and
Of course.
everything, but try to worry less is what I would tell myself.
Yeah.
Like,
just do the thing. And I think I learned it young enough and kind of got that figured out that I was very proactive and started doing things young and made it all work. It did all work out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was always working out.
I'm thinking, I think we said this before, but it was one of those things where one day, everybody gets to that point where you're gonna get to that point where your life is gonna flash before your eyes. If you're on, everybody hits a point where they're on a deathbed or a bed where it's the last thing that they're gonna see before they transition. So if
Or
that
head
is
back
the
to their
case,
planet.
yeah, head back to that planet. So if you're gonna watch this thing, your life is gonna flash before your eyes, it is your responsibility to make sure it's worth watching. So yeah, make it a dope flick. You understand?
I don't think anyone's ever asked you, what would you tell your younger self?
That's what I would tell.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
was gonna say
That's
that.
the
No,
thing.
that's like
Yeah.
that
That's the
really
thing.
hit me.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I think if
What's the score sound like?
Yeah. What's the
Ooh.
score? You from?
I'll score your life.
I was just about to say you got the score of my life. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, if anybody's
I'm
out there that knows any-
excited to binge your music now. Especially we're about to go on a little trip. I got a
Yeah.
little time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm
I mean,
really
if
gonna
I
hit
have a
your
CD
boss.
on me, I'll give you one of those. Who listens to CDs anymore? I don't even have a CD player. I do, and actually, my CT scan of my skull from like the doctors, it's on the disc. And I do have a weird looking skull. I'm not gonna lie, like
I
it
got a
is
weird
weird.
head.
I got a weird looking
head.
skull.
That's
It
why
looks
we wear
like
cool
a.
hats though. That's
Yeah.
why we like hats. Speaking of hats, we got one more.
Oh, I do have one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you like to see it?
I
Let-
would love to see this before. Oh, come on.
Change it up and let's get your social media.
All right, I'll put this one on, and it's not very hard. I mean, they are pretty lightweight. Guinness, by the way, could care less about the world's biggest bow.
Gotcha.
But if you think they should, go hit up Guinness. Guinness, they have such stupid world records, but the world's biggest bow would be cool.
Did you hit them up and they were like, nah?
I don't know. It was like way, way, way back a long time ago. I should look into that. I guess I just really don't care. But
Wait, I'm
anymore,
asking you
but
though. You
did.
said they don't care. You did reach out?
I think I did,
Yeah.
way back in like
It's amazing.
2010, and I think they were like, I don't think that's a thing. But
You're absolutely an individual.
It's a thing now. It's a
That I
thing.
really
Wait, it's a
enjoy.
thing now. I'm gonna-
Jojo Siwa was like,
it's a thing.
I like these bows.
It's a thing.
I saw Lexa doing this.
You guys,
Yeah, it is lightweight. I mean, it is lightweight. It's movable.
I'm thoroughly like this.
It's all like latex. I like to make stuff out of latex a lot.
And it's upcycled?
Vinyl.
Yeah, upcycled. This one right here is a T-shirt, correct?
It is, yeah. I'm gonna have my friend Happy Clouds paint on this.
Oh yeah, I know Happy Clouds.
Yeah, Yeah, he was like, let's do and I was like, oh wait, I have an idea. Boom. So yeah,
Love it.
took me like 4 minutes to make that. If you could believe it. I know I had to put some bubble wrap up in there, but that's just to.
Oh, to fluff it out.
Yeah,
though.
the fluff. Yeah,
like that.
sometimes I'll put. There's something in here. I forget what it.
If I didn't have this hat on, I would have this.
Oh,
maybe
he's-
the next one,
Hey.
I might have to
You
guarantee.
change something, you can change it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's not going to happen, Josh. They're gonna give you, remember,
I
this
tried.
thing lasts
I tried.
forever. This lasts forever. No, I'll be
Yeah,
okay with that,
we're
though.
here.
I love it.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Your girls are watching. Show them they can do anything. I'll put it on
It
here.
does. It is
There you
easy
go,
to
there
make
you
a
go.
bow.
There
It
you
is
go.
pretty easy. Like it's
Perfect.
yeah. I don't like sewing machines.
That should
I'm
be
not gonna lie.
that should
I
be
hate
the
it.
that should
Oh,
be
you're
the
doing
thumbnail.
it.
I'm
The
doing it.
You said
thumbnail.
you weren't gonna do it. You want to here?
No,
Put it. You
there
want me to
you
do
go.
it?
No,
Because
I got it.
it's hard. It is like
That is the
you
thumbnail.
gotta place it right to balance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Larry,
this is the thumbnail.
Larry,
Okay.
this is the thumbnail.
Get it.
Come on in here.
Ah,
Gotta get it. The glasses are hard.
Oh,
yeah.
it is so difficult with glasses. Oh, it is.
Yeah. It's
real
But
heavy.
if you put the glasses over the headband, it helps.
I'll do the.
Yeah.
I'll do the ears.
Yo,
All
this
right.
is amazing.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Yes.
Ah.
So it's
I
thumbnail
will make
time,
sure I
baby.
get that steal. I'm going to get that steal right there.
There it is.
That's a picture.
Put a bow on it.
Put a bow on it. It's a
Aw.
wrap. If you guys
All
do
right.
like
Social media.
yeah, if you,
Social media, like I said, Lexa Terrestrial, Lexa Terrestrial, anywhere, any galaxy, find me, Lexa Terrestrial. Stream my music on Spotify. I have a website, Instagram. Like I said, we're on the moon, and there's probably like one more thing. I have some weird music videos out there too. So if you want to see something a little bit different, yeah, we do have some music videos out there.
Check it out.
Yeah.
definitely. My name is Corey Chai. You can find me on Instagram at move MUVE zeros. Move 78. It says
Yeah.
MUVE 78 on my personal, but we're at 1028. If you like what you're hearing,
Yes.
like what you're listening to, like what you're watching,
I'm blocking it, of course.
it's all right. It's all right. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You see it right behind us. The 1028 is here. If you ever wanted to tell your story, because everyone has a story to tell, and you want to do it like this, tap into 1028 on Instagram, on Facebook. Guys, you contact us, we can make this happen for you.
Absolutely.
And to the left of us, we got
Yeah.
somebody else here. That
Corey's too
printed
cool to
that-
wear a bow.
Printed that beautiful sign back there behind. Yeah, love it.
Josh Snyder 86 on Instagram is the best place to find me, and that's Snyder with an I, SNIDER. And I'd love for you to check it out and see what it is we're doing. Any like art shows and anything going on with my son. He's playing hockey, and we go to a bunch of baseball games, and we have a lot of fun.
Ooh, that's
We do an art class with Corey,
Yeah.
and
you do?
and yeah,
Little bit of
it's a lot
something.
of fun.
Yeah.
And
We make beautiful messes.
right. But on there, you'll be able to find links to the Thoughtful Discussions podcast, the printing business, PGHPrintShip, 3-time #1 award-winning best of
shooting
print
for
shop in
4.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, we are shooting for we're shooting for a million, bro.
4.
We're just gonna keep going, and definitely check that out. And then Pittsburgh Museums. I'm a volunteer board member of a nonprofit organization that is man, I lost those words. The bow is
The bow's taking all
right
his
now
brain
you guys
energy.
get how
His
hard
bro-
it is
the
to be.
bro is-
Trust me, now
the
you get
bro
how
is-
hard it is.
The
Oh
bow
yeah.
is taking the brain energy out of me. I love it.
But yeah, it does. It's hard to balance it. I get it.
It's a lot to think of.
check out pittsburghmuseums.org. They promote a bunch of different museums around this area, and museums you might not have even known exist. And their membership opportunities have some cool little perks to it as well. So check all those things out. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely.
And definitely check out the next episode. We love having you here. Please subscribe. Leave a comment if you if you
Please
do like
drop
this,
some
didn't like
alien
this.
emojis.
Yeah, please.
Live long and prosper.
If you want a bow, definitely contact Lex. for
I believe that these are for sale on your online store. You have these?
Oh, I don't sell like these ones are just custom ones. I do
But do
sell
you have
some
bows?
big. I do. I got
That's
bows.
what I'm saying.
I make
Good
normal
bows.
size ones. Some
You can
there
make 'em
are
bounce?
there are a couple.
Yeah.
Ooh, I could put some hydraulics in them or like some. I do.
No, I
pressure-
mean,
You
they're
should
easy to
connect
bounce
with
anyway.
Disney, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
maybe. There,
Oh,
I
my
do
goodness.
sell ones with lights in them and stuff, but
I would love
I make some stuff light up, and I do have a couple bigger ones. If you do want I'll make a big bow for whoever thinks they can handle it. I mean, but yeah, absolutely. I have bows on there. They're more like normal size.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't-
thank you for having me
Absolutely.
support these
This
guys
has
because
been
their
phenomenal.
podcast is actually very thoughtful and important, and it feeds your soul.
You got to
And so
support your
that's-
friends. Make them.
Yeah.
You got to make them feel comfortable.
And we
if
make
it takes
friends.
if it takes wearing a bow,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
That's
right?
what they'll
That's
remember.
Yo,
Hey,
talk
I'll-
that talk, Josh. Talk that talk with that bow on, man.
That
I
is
love
very
it.
supportive.
It doesn't
Thank
matter.
You for
It doesn't-
supporting your friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing, man. This has been a beautiful conversation. For those out there listening, you know how we ended. We would like to say life, go out there, do something beautiful. The world is counting on you. This world is a blank canvas, and each of us need to grab a paintbrush and paint a masterpiece together. So do your part. We are out.